right, Dadman Walking 55 here, coming to you at 9 o'clock. Well, it's technically 9:01, but hey, we're not that late. We're actually earlier than we usually are when I go live here, folks. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm turning off the emote only on the Twitch side, so make sure you follow us over there too. Help us over there. Emote only off. There we go. Multitasking a little bit. We got a great panel in the background, and thank you for them. What I want to do tonight is going to be our look back at the Super Bowl 58, the Kansas City San Francisco game. Wow, what a game for the ages. What an incredible game. Goes down probably one of the greatest games in NFL history. But with that being said, obviously, so much news out there that's going on, and we'll say with that. What I will say, though, with this is, there was a tragedy yesterday during the celebration, and we're not going to dwell on that tonight, but we just want to extend our hearts and prayers and thoughts and well wishes to that situation, to everybody involved and the victims, and it was such a tragedy, but our hearts and prayers are out to them, and just pray for recovery for people and peace for those really affected by this event. And just put your thoughts and love out there for all of them, and remember them during this time. And with that, we're going to move on into our show tonight. I thought I was going to introduce the chat first, but I'm going to go ahead and bring the panel in. We're going to bring them in here because I know they're antsing to go. You know what? I'm going to make the most antsy person wait till the end, but I'm going to bring in first the great Woopah Troopah. Hey, Woopah.
Hello.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing tonight?
I'm tired. I worked out for an hour before this, and my legs hurt, but I'm here. I made it.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good. I know there's some great news beyond just the football that we may talk about tonight with time. So, hey, well, let's not hold it up anymore. We got the captain himself, the great JT Kirk. Hello, Captain.
Hail. Go Lions.
There you go. Be proud.
What else can I say?
There you go. That's all you can do. All right. We made her wait long enough, too, because we got a lot to cover tonight. She's the resident Chiefs fan herself. She's proud of her Chiefs. Let's listen to her and let her. Tonight's her night to gloat and be glorified with her team. It's the great SciFi Mombie. Hello.
Hello. Yay. Go Chiefs. Woohoo.
Go Chiefs.
That's
Oh my goodness. My goodness. So guys, quick thoughts. There's like a couple sentences for each of y'all. SciFi Mombie, what did you think of this Super Bowl game?
Oh, this was fantastic football.
Okay.
I mean, it was well played. Both sides. I can't talk tonight. The defense on both sides was, I mean, you can't ask for anything better. And we always come back from behind. Sometimes other teams just don't pay attention to that. I don't know. But yeah, it was really good. And it wasn't all about Taylor Swift.
Exactly.
So,
well, the second half, they got a little bit with the camera. So,
but, yeah, we had to see her throw one back.
I know. Well, all right. Well, let's go to JT. JT, quick first impressions of the matchup, of the game, of what we got.
Oh, boy. I will say that after having to sit through 4 quarters, that halftime showing all the commercials, I did get a good viewing of the back of my eyelids in overtime, because that's how much it was still meaning to me. So, yeah, there you go.
You actually
I did not find this to be one for the history books in terms of excitement level, but that's because I wasn't one of the two teams, I guess.
Wow.
So
I can understand that. I just even the ending.
I just totally fell asleep at the end. I was like, whatever.
Yeah. I got you. Okay, Woopah Troopah. What are your opening thoughts with this one tonight?
Oh, hi. Well, I didn't watch the Super Bowl, so I might be. Yeah. I was playing Lethal Company. Boss Cthulhu demanded that we needed to collect some scrap for him.
Hey.
But I did look. I did catch a lot of the highlights. I'm not gonna lie. If Travis Kelce caught that pass at the end of the fourth quarter, I would be saying it was rigged. And, I feel like that would be, if that's it, like I couldn't be convinced otherwise that it would be rigged. But he did drop it. So either he, either it's not rigged or he just really ruined the script. I don't know, one of the two. We'll see.
All right. Well, let's introduce our chat tonight. Talk to them. Corey Cochran's here first. Hi, all, he says. And we got great sci-fi Mombie over here. Of course, and Bucky's Crafting. Bucky's here. Hey, Bucky. Howdy.
Bucky.
Lurking for now while I knit. Going to have to get hubby off to work soon, though. Hope you're having a good night, and hope you can hang out with us. We'll keep knitting even after you send him off. I promise I will not speak foreign languages tonight. But hey, Woopah, what's the official language of Woopah?
It's Woopah. I don't know. We just go Woopah a lot until you get it.
Okay. All right. And let's say hello to the Gorilla Man. Gorilla Man, good to see you tonight. How are you doing? And Bucky's coming into Comrade Leader. And we got
It's me.
Ice Raven, Corey, and SciFi also over on the Twitch side. We got 3 on the Twitch side. Follow us over there if you haven't.
Very nice.
4 on the YouTube side. So, hey, folks, if you get this, share it out. The tweet's already out. Retweet. Share the stream directly from YouTube out to whichever social media platform you can and bring others in. The mission is to make everybody like sports one day because I said so. Or you get a you go. So, all right. No, gosh. Bucky's saying, I think Woopastan is Woopstatska's neighboring country, which is also controlled by Woopah.
Yes.
That must be like Turkmenistan and Azerbaijan and all the stands over there. So, all right.
You have 2 choices. Both are Woopah. That's the real end of it,
Wow. There you go, folks. Hey, it'll be peaceful there, and water Pokemons reign supreme. So we Squirtles will go to Woopastan or Woopstatskas. Okay. I keep messing up the name. Sorry, Woopah. But folks, hey, listen, this is going to be interesting. And we JT kind of opened the door for something because one of the questions I want y'all to consider on the panel, and even you guys in the chat, because I'd like to know what you think. Was this one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time? Or was it maybe one of the greatest endings to a Super Bowl of all time? What's your thoughts on that question? But we're going to take a look first at the game overall. Kansas City wins 25-22 in this game. It was about a 10-3 game at the half, and then Kansas City outscored the 49ers 16-9 in the second half before taking the win in overtime. The scoring started in the game way into the second quarter. It was a nice defensive struggle in the first quarter. Then San Francisco kicks a 55-yard field goal. This was really an interesting battle of long field goals. Mm-hmm. Jake Moody kicked a 55-yard field goal for the 49ers to open up the scoring. Then on a throwback from Jawan Jennings, Christian McCaffrey catches a 21-yard pass for a touchdown to take a 10-0 lead. Then with 20 seconds left in the first half, Harrison Butker for the Chiefs gets them on the board. We got a 10-3 halftime game. Then coming out, scoring's slow, but 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Harrison Butker then breaks Jake Moody's record-long Super Bowl field goal with a 57-yard field goal. Wow. To pull the Chiefs within 10-6. Then the Chiefs, before the end of their quarter, Marquez Valdez-Scantling catches a 16-yard pass from Patrick Mahomes, and the PAT makes the game 13-10. This came off of a turnover deep in 49er territory. I believe this was on the muff punt that happened right here. But Kansas City takes advantage right off the bat. San Francisco then goes down. Jawan Jennings catches a 10-yard pass from Brock Purdy to take a 16-13 lead. And guys, you remember what I said with final scores last week? 17-16. I was like waiting for that PAT until I told my mom, I was watching this game with Grandma Man Walken. I was like, I just get the extra point, then nobody scores the rest of the game. Well, too much, too bad. Well, blocked extra point. Then the 49ers take the lead with a minute 53. Jake Moody with another 50-plus yard field goal, 53 yards, takes a 19-16 lead. Then the Chiefs move down, and one of the plays on this drive was the run by Patrick Mahomes that kept the drive alive. Moved down, kicked a 29-yard field goal. Harrison Butker did, ties it at 19, where we go to overtime. Now, see, folks, this is a debate, and hey, Max Redstone, hey, we make sports ball fun. We like people making fun of sports ball too. We're tough. We like to we like to have fun with it. I think Woopah and I have talked about this before, the overtime rules. I'm old school. I'm like, hey, if you can't stop anybody on the first thing, you don't get the ball. Play defense, sudden death. I'm a traditional overtime, because 49ers would have won the Super Bowl with a 27-yard field goal, took a 22-19 lead, but the Chiefs get the ball back, they move it down, and they win the game on a 3-yard pass to Mecole Hardman from the University of Georgia from Patrick Mahomes on a 75-yard play drive. It's just 13 plays to win 25-22, our final score. So that was an insane way to end the game. So one day, if not tonight, we're going to talk more about that again, with the way the overtime rules go, because this was apparently the first time it had been in the playoffs with the new rules, where the other team that I remember the first time Tim Tebow won a playoff game, Denver against Pittsburgh. It was then, if you get a touchdown on the first drive, the game's over. Well, now everybody gets to touch the ball once. So in the new rules, Kansas City, even if San Francisco would have scored a touchdown, Kansas City would have gotten the ball back. But there. And what I understood from Tony Romo, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, this overtime, I guess, if look, since Kansas City still had the ball, was running out of time, it was going to continue like into a second quarter, which was weird to me. I thought they were going to have to score in the period, like force a field goal, but I guess the rule's different. So Bucky says, I understood all those words in order. You don't need to quiz me on it. I already know it all. Promise. Okay, good job. You got a great leader. Yeah, you got the great Woopah as your leader. So
indeed.
So, exactly. So guys, that's how the scoring went in this game. As y'all watched it. Let me go with JT Kirk. I will say I didn't struggle through part of the first half. I will say, but the fourth quarter got me going.
Mm-hmm.
What was this game to you? How did you kind of explain how dramatic it was to you? But what were your thoughts as this game progressed, as you were watching it?
Well, both of these teams have been to the playoffs a million times, so it wasn't like there was much of a narrative or story behind the game, right? To me, or I guess to the wider non-49ers Chiefs fandom, right? So I was hoping to see some big plays to kind of break this thing open. And, first half, it just seemed like 3 and out. Maybe you got a first down. Oh, look, 3 and out. It really just did not seem to want to take off. Like neither team was necessarily prepared to deal the killing blow to the other team in the first half. I don't know if it's because they're playing too conservatively or what the issue really was. But if you're not scoring in whole quarters, come on. Mm-hmm. And then field goals are like the way that you're trying to get things done. I mean, who can be that excited over that?
Well, I will say the number of 50-plus yard field goals was kind of exciting, because those are kind of dramatic, kick it from that distance, and to have at least 3 over 50 yards in one Super Bowl was quite amazing, because a lot of times the coaches aren't aggressive enough to kick the field goals because the ball's turned over at the place where it's held.
Yeah, so there was that. I mean, but at the end of the day, I'm not watching football that late to see a bunch of field goals.
I agree.
So
I thought that's what Big Ten football was all about.
Well, I'm not the Iowa fan in the room here, so that's the other thing. You know,
Well,
if
that'd
I
be
wanted
the
to
pun-
watch
that'd
Iowa
be the
football,
punter.
I would just subscribe to the Big Ten network and, you know, watch it that way.
Woopah just loves
you know,
Iowa, Kentucky, though.
Oh yeah,
all
I'm
jokes
a big
aside,
fan.
yeah. All jokes aside, you know, I just did not find it. I did not find the entertainment value particularly high, with, you know, a lack of getting drives assembled. I thought that was very worrying, especially for the Chiefs in the first half, being down like that. I thought Mahomes did not look like an NFL all-star quarterback in that first 30 minutes of play.
Yeah.
So,
well, SciFi, Mombie, and I were communicating a little bit during the game, and I said that to you, SciFi, that Mahomes didn't look right. He looked like he was struggling physically to throw the ball. What did you think as the game started?
Yeah, he looked like he was tired, distracted. Kelsey, wow, he really lost it. I mean, you know, they like to. I love what his brother said to him, because did he not play under Reed with the Eagles? He's like, you can't do that. He says, don't ever do that again. But I mean, yeah.
the yell, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, where he he chucked his helmet. I'm surprised they didn't call him on a penalty, but he chucked his helmet onto the field, and then he ran up to Reed and kind of shook him, like, put me in the game, you know. And they kept ignoring him because they knew that everybody is watching him and trying to stop him.
Yeah.
That seemed like such an odd thing, just because, I mean, when you're talking about coaches, like, you'd think that, I mean, it was one play and they were down by 7 at the time. So it's not like you're out of it, you know? I don't understand why you wouldn't trust the coach who's, you know, winningest coach in Kansas City history, winningest coach in Eagles history, already got you 2 Super Bowl wins. Like, it's not like he's a random guy. So I was just surprised, like, yeah, what warrants that reaction from
I didn't think that much of it, because I was like, you know, he's probably super frustrated because he knows everybody is just targeting him, right? And his emotions and adrenaline just got the better of him for a second. And that's all I thought it was. I didn't think too much of it. I thought people were making a huge deal out of something that maybe wasn't. So
it's not a character for him, though. He doesn't always act like that.
Right.
If anything, he's the one calling other players out for their, you know, their tantrums and stuff like that. So it was just just odd. Yeah, I don't know if it was just I don't know. He didn't really explain it very well on his brother's podcast. So
I think, you know, maybe Taylor called down to him and said, look, if you guys don't win, this is over.
Yeah.
So he was like,
no, Taylor was fighting with Kanye West in the booth below her.
Yeah. She's threatened to write a breakup song on him. So
yeah, exactly.
Hello, Emily Gangadine. Hope you and Sammy and Little One are good tonight. Hopefully you're doing well, and good to see you tonight with us. And Lemon Pie is here. Hey, Lemon Pie.
Hey, Lemon Pie.
Back to you.
Hey.
All right.
Hey, guys.
So, guys, we got 10 people here. Make sure you follow us on the Twitch side and subscribe and hit the like. Share it out from the YouTube side. Bring everybody in. We'll make them enjoy sports. And we actually have a little bit more than just football tonight. So, but you're talking about Travis Kelce. Yes, we do, Woopah. And we got to work towards the future in a couple weeks. We need to talk a little bit more. Oh, look at that. Emily's yelling for you, Woopah. Woopah. By the way, everybody, Woopah 2024 for president. He's a candidate everybody can get behind. I do not talk politics on my channel, but yeah, Woopah 2024. So, hey,
whoop, whoop.
I break the rule for Woopah. Travis Kelce, we just talked about, had 9 catches again in a playoff game. He seemed very quiet in the first half, but the second half, he ended up with 9 catches for 93 yards, the longest of a 22-yard reception. So
I like what Lemon Pie is saying. Maybe that's what it was about.
Oh, maybe he was yelling, "Hey, don't you think my girlfriend is hot?" He might have. Love it, lemon pie. Great. All right. Get this nice quote.
Maybe he was asking for permission, and Reed kept saying no.
No, I still
And
think
then
she threatened a breakup song on him. But go ahead, SciFi.
Yeah.
I was also thinking that maybe they were deliberately keeping him out of the game until they absolutely needed him at the end. Because he was really chopping, some of that defense down so that others could, like Hardman and who was the other one? Push the ball down the field because they were really wanting to play the run game.
Actually, Justin Watson had 3 catches for 54 yards. That's a name I've not heard of before. Marquez Valdes-Scantling had a touchdown catch, 3 catches for 20 yards, longest of 16. Gorilla Man talked about Noah Gray sighting. He had 2 catches for 22 yards. And, Rashee Rice had 6 catches for 39 yards. So shorter catches. So, but it was interesting. I would go back to my first observation, and like I reached out to you, Mahomes did not look physically comfortable in the first half. He looked like he was having to throw the body with all of his body. It just did not look like a normal quarterback delivery. And it's been a while since I've seen a quarterback mechanically that bad. But then the second half, it's like a different quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I couldn't tell if it was like his back was bothering him or, his foot still bothers him sometimes.
There was a physical clunkiness.
He was off. Yeah.
And it was affecting his throws wide, high, all kind of directions too. So overall, though, he ended up 34-46, which is probably about almost 75%. Then again, I mean, still he ended up with a good percentage. But not really big deep passes. 34 completions, 333 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick in this game. But he had it when it counts. So once again, we've got a Super Bowl winning quarterback that may struggle, but he turns it on at the end, rallies his team to tie the game, force it overtime and win it in overtime on a very impressive drive. Now Patrick Mahomes is becomes the 5th quarterback with 3 or more Super Bowl rings, only behind he ties Troy Aikman, and he's behind Terry Bradshaw. Tom Brady leads with 7, Joe Montana, then Bradshaw, and then of course Aikman and Mahomes now tied at 3. So that's how it goes. One of the greatest. Now SciFi. I mean, y'all are claiming dynasty. Is that correct over there?
Yes, we are. We're going back again.
All right. And still, he's really young. So the future, I know
he's
one of the graphics.
28. Yeah, he's 28. One of
the shots, the graphics they had, and it showed the comparison with Tom Brady. And at his age, it's very possible he can do it. Just stay healthy, though. So.
I don't. I was gonna say I don't want to be a hater, but that's not true. I do. I mean, you look at Tom Brady. Sure, he got better as his career went on, but if you look at his stats in those first 2-3 Super Bowls, I mean, he was nothing spectacular. That was he was behind a great defense. I mean, behind some of the best defenses in that era. And he eked out, 20 points in a win, 23. He was, go to Mahomes, and Mahomes has been, 50 touchdowns in a season already, throwing 300 yards in the Super Bowl, all that kind of stuff. He's, Mahomes has really been the guy for this team, even though, he's not doing it alone. It's still a team sport, but he's really pulling his weight. While you look at Tom Brady, and he's kind of, getting a lot of help there.
Yeah,
he's lucky that Eli, at the time, Eli Manning wasn't in the league yet. So,
no. Well, I will tell you, like when we previewed this game, Mahomes had a lot of things going against him. I mean, the fact that the Kansas City receivers started having the drop season in the playoffs, and really it's a sign of an excellent quarterback that, in spite of a team with receivers that are dropping ball all the time, still managed to win as many games as he has. And down in crunch time can put the team on his back and almost will him to win sometimes. He doesn't, and Pacheco's a good running back, but still, I mean, in this game he ran for 60 yards, and Pacheco also had issues holding the ball in this game.
Mm-hmm.
He did lose a fumble, but there was another time I think he dropped one, but he picked it back up. But so it was very interesting to see what happened, with this game, and kind of average. Kadarius Toney is a name I do not see on the Kansas City roster, being a former Florida Gator. Did he get hurt earlier this year?
So he was hurt for the playoffs, but he was healthy, and they still made him a healthy scratch, which, maybe that's the best decision for him. I know that could be why they're winning.
Well, I won't talk about his time at the University of Florida. He did a lot of good things, but also a lot of interesting things. So anybody who was there at Florida during Urban Meyer, except for Tim Tebow, yeah. There are stories. But yeah, so JT, did you at least like the ending? I know that you had problems with the game and it kind of lulled you to sleep. I understand the slugfest, because we were talking about having good defensive battles that could be interesting.
We were.
So, but did the game, did it ever have a chance of really pulling you in?
No, it did not. There was never really like that exciting drive where you're like, oh man, here they go. I don't know. There was just so many drop passes, so many disconnects. Just, I don't know. It just, by the time I got to the fourth quarter, I was like, goodness gracious, can this game end? But part of that was I felt like they set an all-time record for longest time spent on a commercial break or number of commercial breaks. And that, can take you out of the game quite a bit, but I got to watch most of the game by myself, which was, good for trying to concentrate on the football. And it just seemed like they 3-and-outed so much that gave them another chance for commercials, right? Yep. And then they took full advantage of that, and it just never really got me that up and going for anything. I wanted the Chiefs to win, but it wasn't like I was getting invested for them to win, because I can root for a team that's not my normal team all day and really get sucked in. It just didn't do it for me for whatever reason. Yeah.
It's too much red. I mean, red everywhere. So Bucky said, I like how he kept asking JT about what happened while he was asleep. I'm asking for what he remembers. So, but okay, Sci-Fi Mombie, please explode. Go ahead. Go where you want to with this. Talk about your Chiefs. What was good? What was bad? What was your feeling? What were you thinking, and how was this game to you? How exciting? I mean, it's got to be exciting because your team ended up winning, but here's your chance to gush and brag.
Well, we have a good dynamic going.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy knows that, and Spagnola knows that, and who is our offensive coach?
Bieniemy.
Yeah, Bieniemy. Oh God, I hope we don't lose him. He wants to move on, but
he's not the guy anymore.
Oh, he's not. Bieniemy's not the guy.
Bieniemy went to Washington last year, or I don't remember who the OC. Let me double check.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can get that real quick.
Okay. Yeah. I thought he stayed because he couldn't get another job in the NFL.
Oh,
they would interview him, and he nobody would pick him up.
Matt Nagy.
Matt Nagy, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Former Bears coach.
Yeah, he replaced Eric Bieniemy in the offseason. Yeah.
The Bears.
The Bears, yes. Jess is like, why couldn't he coach like that in Chicago? Okay, sorry, Sci-Fi.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Bears,
brag
the Bears
away.
Need it. Yeah.
Brag away. This is your moment to shine with your team.
I'm just happy because we had the drought forever, and just to see them win and see Kansas City come together, unless you're never mind. But it's like you sit there and you dream that your team's going to do something, and then they finally do something, and you're going, pinch me? Is this real? But yeah, it's great. Now, let's talk the negative side.
Okay, let's go.
Quit dropping the ball.
Yes.
Gorilla Man and I were talking about this the other day. Yeah, it's great that you have Kelsey, but he's 34. He's not going to play football forever. You got to start bringing in that talent to replace him at some point.
Yeah, Kelsey's going to be a roadie at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I couldn't resist it.
Well, and I hate to say it, but maybe he's already started because of his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Don't want to say it like that, but you know.
Yeah.
If you're buying somebody a house in Kansas City, you don't have football on the brain.
Nope.
So.
Nope. All right. So drops. We know about the drops or negatives. What other negatives did you have with the game? I know you were very upset with the way Kelsey acted on the sideline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he needs to, as Taylor says, calm down.
Yes.
You say that there is bad blood,
right?
but
I think the dumb penalties are still plaguing us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like holding, and there wasn't as many pass interference as there has been.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the other one?
There was a personal foul that I thought was
stupid.
kind of egregious that they committed, wasn't there? I'm trying to remember which one it was.
Oh, yeah, it was kind of dumb. It was a defensive player.
I did call
I know what it was. Our guy hit the quarterback and shoved him out.
Yeah, and that took him from like a 3rd and long to a first down or something.
That was not necessary.
That kept them in. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a very dumb.
Yeah, you really gotta a lot of those long plays. You can't, the only thing you can't do. I mean, you can't give up a long play, but the second most important thing is don't take a penalty, because even if it's a 5-yard, a lot of those are automatic first downs.
Mm-hmm.
And horse collars. I mean,
yeah.
Yes, I get it. It's a problem across the whole league. I get it. You're reaching out to their shoulder and they move. Okay, I get that. But it just seemed like the one that happened in this game was absolutely deliberate.
Yeah,
and
I could see
that was a
making
dumb
that
penalty.
argument.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, at least it wasn't like what Baltimore did a couple weeks before that. Some of those were talk about egregious. Those were egregious.
Yeah, they need to work on their smack talk.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to happen in the game. I get that, but that was just way over the top.
Yeah, but I mean, but still, at that point, if those are the negatives, I mean, you survived them. They didn't destroy the team. I mean, definitely you can always clean things up. So, but again, it shows, I think, the nature of Mahomes, a quarterback that can overcome the odds and get his team into position to win. But you also have to give Kansas. Everybody does talk about Kelsey and Mahomes, but that Kansas City defense played a very good game. They held Christian McCaffrey to 80 yards running on 22 carries, so it's under 4 yards a carry. Brock Purdy was 23 of 38 for 255 yards. Good days, good numbers. 110 yards rushing by the Niners. The Chiefs had 130 yards rushing. So actually, Christian McCaffrey was San Francisco's leading receiver too, with 8 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown. With Jawan Jennings catching the other touchdown.
If you're looking at and throwing the other touchdown.
And throwing the other, exactly. He could have been Super Bowl MVP had the Niners won.
Yeah, I think really it's kind of crazy to think about, because Christian McCaffrey was incredibly valuable all year. He should have been the MVP of the league, but they don't give me. They don't let me have a vote. But they
Yeah, we should be the ones voting for that, shouldn't we?
Exactly.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
part of the
Exactly.
media, right? We should be
we
getting
get the media
votes.
vote.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind
Yeah.
of the thing, like he was the reason they were in that game. At the same time, that fumble that he had, like that could have, if he doesn't have that fumble, like he could have. I think you have a good argument for him probably being the
Yeah.
Super Bowl MVP net right now instead of Mahomes, because I think that probably could have been the difference right there.
Well, to JT's point about how boring of a game it was, I will say it was also at times truly defense dominated. Like Joey Bosa's just his domination on the line was just incredible with what he did. Nick Bosa. There's too many Bosas around the league, but he was getting in, causing disruptions. There was though one of the drives where Kansas City scored. They pointed out about how he lost contained though, and Mahomes was able to score to keep a play alive. So, but at one point, if it stayed low scoring, had San Francisco won, it was running through my mind in the fourth quarter that Nick Bosa could have been a defensive MVP, which has happened before. Remember in the 70s, the Cowboys, two defensive tackles, Harvey Martin and Randy White, were co-MVPs in the Super Bowl. So it can happen with a defensive player. And Larry Brown, I believe, won it that one time with his gift interceptions. So what did you think about Nick Bosa's domination of the Kansas City line?
To Mombie or
To either of y'all. Did y'all? Because I was watching him play a lot, and especially when they're pointing out his pursuits, because they're talking about keeping Mahomes in the pocket, to keep that contain on him, and they did a really good job, except till the four quarters of certain plays. But what did you think about San Francisco's line, specifically Nick Bosa, disrupting that Kansas City offense for 3 quarters?
He put his all into it. I know that much. That was pretty good. I am happy though that we did re-sign Chris Jones to his contract. I don't think our defense, he's a great captain for our defense, but yeah, San Francisco has a great defensive line, and I hope they keep him. I mean,
Sorry.
I'm trying to think about what I want to say, but yeah.
Well, one of the things that I'd heard for a few weeks now in the playoffs was really the strength of the San Francisco defense was across the middle. It's linebackers and secondary that really the strength of their defense with the crossing routes in the middle of the field in the pass game. That's why Kelsey, and I thought for about 3 quarters or two and a half quarters, they really did a good job with Kelsey. Then in the second half is when he emerged, and you could see him, and you see, even though he didn't score, he still had 9 catches. That's a lot. And your tight end getting that open to help keep drives alive, help move the ball down the field, but for 93 yards. So,
I mean, there were times where I was watching, they had him double or triple teamed, trying to keep him at bay, and it worked until it seemed like they just lost gas. I mean, they had no energy left.
So what did y'all think with the JT? I guess you slept in the final drive, right? You missed overtime
to tie it up. I slept through half of that, and then I saw them do the coin toss. Yeah, and then I was like, I am not going to make the end of this, and I fell asleep, and I woke up right when KC scored like the very last play.
Oh wow! Well, you woke up just in time.
I did.
There's something else I'm really excited that we brought him back.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Brought Hardman home.
Yes.
Yes, that was, and I was talking to one of our mutual friends about it, and he ignored me the rest of his stream.
Be cool.
But yeah, he left and went to the Jets, and he came back. So
University of Georgia. Yep. Great player.
Why couldn't he have been good when I drafted him in fantasy, though? That's the problem. Like, I was like, oh, he's a big rookie. Well, that's a long time ago, obviously. But like, he's going to be rookie. He's going to be catching balls from Mahomes. Oh, I mean, he's going to be great. And he never was. What's up with that? Huh? I need those fantasy points, I mean, I know the Super Bowl is important, But like my fantasy league, like I feel like that's more prestigious, you know.
And I'm kind of miffed because my fantasy quarterback was Mahomes, and he didn't do jack for me in my fantasy league. And then he goes and wins the Super Bowl just to give me the extra middle finger. Like,
right? It's like he's not motivated for my team, you know.
Exactly. I'm glad you see it like that.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, that fantasy football, exactly. It'll crush your dreams. Yeah, the one thing noticing looking at the stats, Deebo Samuel only had 3 catches for 33 yards for the 49ers, and he's been a big part of the offense. He got 3 carries, but for only 8 yards. So the Kansas City defense, we talk about the offense, really stepped up against the San Francisco offense, and Juwan Jennings only had 42 yards, had a touchdown catch. And it forced, like I said, McCaffrey, a running back, to be San Francisco's leading receiver, which is kind of odd to see when that happens. Usually tight ends or wide receivers are your leading receivers. But let's go into another news article real quick, since this happened after that. It's related to this because we talk about, like I said, this was a big defensive game, and I was like praying for 17-16 final. Almost got there at the point of the game. Then it went poop. But San Francisco gave up 22 points from the third quarter to the end of the game. 10 in the third, 6 in the fourth, and a touchdown in overtime. Which, for most of the game, it seemed like San Francisco was really just dominating Kansas City. But then we find out that the 49ers fired their defensive coordinator, Steve Wilks, after only one season. After one season, 49ers defensive coordinator Steve Wilks is out. This is from ESPN.com. And it was not a management issue. It was not management. Quoting Kyle Shanahan, the Niners head coach, this morning I relieved Steve Wilks of his duties. We're going to end up making a change here at defensive coordinator, a really tough decision because he's going to say, because it really says nothing about him as a man or as a football coach. I mean, exactly what we wanted as a man. He is a great football coach. But just where we're going and where we're at with our team from a scheme standpoint and things like that, looking through it all throughout the year to these last few days, I felt pretty strong that this was a decision that was best for the organization. So
does that mean he wanted too much money?
I don't know.
Right?
Well, apparently on Tuesday, Shanahan dodged the questions about whether he would remain defensive coordinator for a second season, but he needed more time to sort it out. And then, of course, Shanahan said by Wednesday morning he realized he was going in a different direction. So in Wilks' lone season with the Niners, the defense had its share of ups and downs. A unit that led the NFL in multiple categories in 2022 under DeMeco Ryans, including fewest points per game allowed and 16.3, and defensive expected points added 89.58, took a step back in 2023. San Francisco still finished third in points allowed at 17.5 this season, but they were ninth in the defensive EPA at 41.48. They also sprung significant leaks against the run in the playoffs, allowing Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, and the Kansas City Chiefs to average 5.1 yards per carry and 149.3 yards per game in the postseason. So
rushing yards?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Rushing yards per game. It was specifically that the run game took a blow in the playoffs, that it had faltered coming down the stretch.
So the rumor I've heard, and it's just a rumor, I am not a reporter.
Kathleen Kennedy's out at Lucasfilm?
Oh, God.
That would be a godsend.
I was actually going to say she's been hired as the new defensive coordinator.
Oh Lord.
They were saying Wilks is more of a defensive backs guy.
Yeah.
And Bosa and Warner, etc., did not like that. And apparently maybe use some of their influence to get him out of there. I think if that's true, that's kind of stupid. Because there's a kind of thing like, I don't think the 49ers have any like real, defensive backs that I really know offhand. But they've got a ton of, they've got, Fred Warner, and they've got a star-studded defensive line. where it's like, there's a point in time where it's like we don't need to get a quarterback, not a quarterback, a coach who caters to these guys because these guys are already veterans and they know what they're doing. You want to get a coach that can fix the weak spots. Once you get good veterans in there, you'd think. But I don't know. That is just a rumor.
Yep. I know. Well, hey, Bucky's crafting is saying he's perfect, quoting him. He's perfect in every way, but we were letting him go. Yes. So, but then the great observation, then Bucky says, we need to establish that Woopah does not count as a reliable source of information. Oh, no.
I mean, I think everyone should believe everything I say.
Yes. And vote for him for president in 2024.
Yes.
Well, the article goes on to make this sound really, you kind of think, well, maybe they're blowing smoke with this deal about the system, but apparently it is because they've used the same system for 3 years in a row. They've had different defensive coordinators in the previous 2 years, and there were bumps this year after a 5-0 start. Shanahan publicly criticized him for an all-out blitz call before half against the Minnesota Vikings that resulted in a touchdown in a Week 7 loss. During the Week 9 bye, Shanahan asked Wilkes to move from the booth to the field on game days.
Whenever you say Shanahan, I'm thinking the Red Wings. Sorry. I will.
Oh.
I think of his dad.
Brendan Shanahan. Oh, yes.
Okay.
Florida Gator.
Yeah,
Florida Gator.
Mike.
Yeah, it was Mike Shanahan. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Mike Shanahan. From the Gainesville, from the 70s in Gainesville. Yep.
Wasn't he the coach at one time of the 49ers as well?
I think Denver.
Denver.
Okay.
I
think it was Denver. Yeah. But going further to this, and I remember when Romo or either the other one of them announced with a timeout in the overtime. Chiefs were facing 2nd and 6 at San Francisco's 37 with 2:48 left in overtime. And Shanahan used a timeout, later saying he didn't like the look of the play. And that was a comment that the commentators were making, was that Shanahan didn't like the look of something, and so they called the timeout, that they were misaligned. So after the win, Nick Bosa said the Niners weren't prepared for some of the design running plays for Patrick Mahomes. And so, of course,
I mean, to be fair, what team in the NFL is prepared for some of the runs designed for Mahomes?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, and even though Bosa's kind of like, well, whatever, but linebacker Fred Warner offered a more positive outlook, noting the Niners finished 5th in takeaways with 28, recorded 22 interceptions, which tied for 1st in the league. That's a very stingy defense, especially when they can take the ball away. It can do things short in the field, help your offense out, or score on defense. So, but hey, that's it. This is the fallout from the game that Wilkes actually came to the Niners after finishing 2022 as the interim coach of the Carolina Panthers. Previously coached the Arizona Cardinals in 2018, but was fired after going 3-13. And then he was part of a lawsuit against the league. And
he's an interim coach for the Panthers.
Right. In 2022. Yeah. Yep, exactly. So, and he's part of litigation. I don't know if the litigation is still ongoing against the NFL for discrimination. So, but that's it. That's what I have with the Super Bowl. Guys, any other thoughts with this game? What did you like? What you did not like? Well, then we get out some commercials. But I mean, any other thoughts on the game itself?
I did not like Taylor Swift's involvement in this game. I thought she was very lackluster. She did not prepare.
Yeah, she was calling the plays. No, I was just kidding.
Yeah,
I mean, how many yards did she even have?
I mean, the amount of time she was on screen, her play time was higher than probably about half of both those teams. If you really think about it, the number of people on the sideline and the amount of time they got on screen versus Taylor, I mean, there's really no comparison.
Well, and they were also talking about the commercials because of her influence on the league. They deliberately put in half of the commercials were geared to women. And you can see it, like the Dove commercials and the Always commercials. And there was a couple of food commercials, and the Coors Light commercial was a woman like, let's all have a beer. So it's fascinating the shift.
I thought overall the commercials were. It was a bad year for the commercials. I did like Arnold finally did something funny for once, other than Jingle All the Way with the Noba that commercial. That was funny. I liked that one.
Get me out of the chopper.
Chopper, yeah. Did y'all have any favorite commercials that y'all seen either live during the game or that you found out what commercials after?
The new Doritos. What are they called? The rolled Doritos. The two abuelas with
Dinamita or Dita. Dinamita.
They were going after the guy that stole the last bag.
Yes, I know.
That was great.
That was one of the cooler commercials. I actually saw a bag of those in a convenience store today. So they are out there, folks. Dinamitas. Yeah, go ahead.
I hate to be a spoil sport. I just didn't see anything that I thought was memorable that I'm going to remember next year, except for Peyton Manning taking the easy dollar over principle and doing the Bud Light commercials. But he's been doing that all year. So, I'll vote that one down automatically.
Who's Peyton Manning, by the way?
Huh?
Who's Peyton Manning?
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, that's Eli's brother. Eli Manning. Eli's
brother named Eli.
Yeah. Eli, the Super Bowl champ. Eli,
wait,
the real
they're brothers.
Wait,
Their dad played football too.
Yeah. Well, Eli, the guy that actually won a Super Bowl, didn't have to have his defense do it all for him. Yes, sister, away that comment because of your crap about Tebow.
Didn't have to, spy on other teams.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other,
I think there was definitely a focus. I was sarcastically saying that the commercials I like are the ones that preach to me the most. I feel like the Bud Light effect is still recognized and good on companies for recognizing that. And I felt like it was far more subdued this year than it's been in past years on not everybody, but on some of the messaging. Anyway,
I honestly did not take any severe messaging either one way or the other of whatever aisle. I actually did not take any messages off this year from whatever. There's none that I thought of really were quote message like preaching messages, but it was a good year. But it was a good year from that standpoint, but a bad year for commercials. They just overall were kind of lame and
they were lackluster.
I could have slept through those, JT. The game was fine with me.
Well, that's what didn't help. The commercials, and they had so many, and they were all just boring.
Yeah.
The other funny one was the Dunkin' Donuts commercial with Jennifer, J-Lo and Ben Affleck.
And Matt Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon. That was hilarious. He's like, I'm really sorry. I didn't want to do this.
They released it before the Super Bowl, but I really liked that. I mean, I wish it was for a better product, but I really liked that Paramount Plus commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good with Arnold.
Picard.
We throw the child.
Was the quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated that commercial. But you knew really? I was going to be upset about that, Dadman. So
why? Because of Picard?
Yeah.
It's like Paramount Plus. Outside of you can watch soccer, I feel like why that's a crappy service. It's barely
it's a garbage tier network,
folks.
Or streaming
service.
Star Wars,
if you're in the chat and you watch the Super Bowl and you like some commercials, feel free to share it with us. But we're kind of sharing some of this. I actually thought, why didn't they have a little disclaimer not to hurt kids? Do not use kids as footballs. On that one because we got a legal disclaimer for everything else.
Listen, if your head is shaped like a football, I mean, it only makes sense.
Think of two cartoon characters right now who are like that.
All Arnolds must be on notice.
Arnold and Stewie.
I'm just kidding.
Yep.
I'm not. Disclaimer. I am joking.
Well, see, Paramount Minus isn't even a good network to watch Star Trek on, Woopah, because they lost the rights to some of the movies.
Yep.
So they can't even put all the movies on the network.
Oh,
and then again, we might become a part of Warner Brothers.
It's so. But I did like the commercial. It was bad. Someone was joking about they had to
so
put
bad it was good.
They're saying They had to put Tua in that commercial because if it was Josh Allen, it wouldn't make sense.
Uh,
I thought that was
Bucky said Arnold had it coming. Yeah, he was overdue to have something right. And Bucky said they're always trying to do the best, most funny, most amazing commercials with as many famous people as they can all the time now. Basically Super Bowl commercials, which takes the fun out of it. Yeah. I mean, how many like the car with the Darth Vader march, the little kid, the anonymous people. Where's the beef lady? Clara Peller was one of the great, somebody out of nowhere. There was not a famous person, just these people appearing out of nowhere, and that's very interesting. Like now they had to put the high priced, high name because look at the ones that we talked about that are the better ones. There's Arnold, there's J-Lo, all those in that commercial, not really just a creative ad that can speak for itself. Even Paramount, you had Picard in it. You also had Dora the Explorer, and I can't remember who else was in it, but everything was about famous IP or famous people in it, and honestly, I think they should have had Beavis and Butthead there and had Butthead throwing Beavis as a football, but that would have been better. Maybe JT might have liked that one a little bit better than that. So,
what quarter was that?
Probably third. I think it was in the later part of the game. You might have been asleep, JT.
I might have been making my pizza rolls for that, channeling my
well,
inner
they showed it twice, didn't they?
They
showed it during the pregame, and then they showed it like in the third quarter, like you said.
See, I quit. I don't watch the pregame commercials. I wait till the game, but and then again, hey, more that we got to know. So my earlier question, folks, with 8 people here watching with us, feel free if you had some of the ads that you like, share it with us. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and follow us on Twitch. But for you 3 here, do you consider this one of the best Super Bowls of all time, considering we actually had a Super Bowl that ended in overtime and on the last play, and it was actually tied just at the end of regulation? Would you consider this one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time?
From the ones I've seen, yes. I'm also kind of going off Nielsen ratings because it was one of the higher rated.
Right. And I mean, no, I've thrown out all the ratings on all the other stuff.
Yeah. And that was kind of
take your Chiefs fan on
fascinating.
it. Just put it on you yourself. Did you think it was one of the best Super Bowls you've watched?
I do. Because you rarely see the Super Bowl going into overtime. I mean, that alone, especially when they, the Chiefs battled back as well as they did. But yeah, I think it was. Okay.
JT or Woopah? I mean, I know y'all missed some part of the game, but from what you've seen, from what you've read, would you consider this one of the greatest Super Bowls, or maybe, if not the greatest Super Bowls, maybe one of the greatest endings of all time?
It was a good ending. I feel like it was a good half, maybe fourth quarter and on of the Super Bowl. That part was really good. But I mean, the first half, from everything I've seen, obviously I missed it, but everything I've seen, everything I've heard, like my coworkers or such say, it was like, wow, that sucked. Like, I mean, like it wasn't like, oh, really good defensive battle. They're like, and I do feel like a lot of those times it felt like some of the teams, Kansas City and the 49ers were beating themselves. And I don't know. It's just, it's hard to say because I don't think they've played a complete, like, if they had the energy they had in the fourth quarter and overtime, I feel like then yes, but just the amount of kind of miscues before then was like, what's going on?
JT?
I almost echo Woopah to a T. I don't think it was a complete game of football for either team. I'd probably put it in ranking of Super Bowls between 20 and 30. Now I'm not going to go through and rank every single Super Bowl because I haven't seen some of them, or things like that.
Good night, Bucky.
I don't think it had the fairy tale story if you weren't a KC fan for Mahomes. I mean, look, in Mommy's a KC fan, awesome game, right? Like, I'm sure it was a blast and all of that, but to me it was just one of these games where I think Taylor Swift gave them the ratings, honestly, and I did not really think the product on the field was like super amazing. Like, if I was going to say to somebody who'd never watched a game of football before, would I have them start on this game? No.
Mm-mm.
No, I definitely would not. There's definitely more excitement to be had in the game of football than this one. That being said, I would not put it in the bottom 10 or 15 Super Bowls. I think Kloppy mentioned this in our preview game show, where there were years where one of the conferences would just blow out the other, like 28-3 or something like that, right?
Well,
like those you want to see both teams kind of score more than like one field goal. So I wouldn't say it was lopsided at all. So it had that going for it. I don't want to make it sound like it was the worst at all, because it definitely was not. I also appreciated that. I think the refs were pretty confident. I mean, somebody can always disagree with me on that, but I don't think they blew a huge one like they did in some of the other playoff games this year. So, and that's always good to see. You don't want to see your title game get decided by the Zebras. So there are definitely a lot more things that could have gone wrong.
Well, it reminds me a little bit of the 2000 Super Bowl, Rams, Tennessee Titans, low scoring in the first half, and then the points in the second half. And this is the one where they tackled the Tennessee receiver like a yard short of the goal line on the last
the tackle.
Yep.
Yes. And it gave the great people of Missouri a Super Bowl title for your friend Stan Kroenke then to move your team out. So
it's okay. We have that one, and Stan doesn't. Stan doesn't get.
Yes,
that's right.
All right.
I do have to give it. I do have to give props to Mr. Irrelevant.
Yes.
Purdy. He brought his team to the Super Bowl. That's pretty relevant.
Quarterback out of Iowa State. Quarterback out of Iowa State. And if you don't know what Mr. Irrelevant is, Mr. Irrelevant is the last pick of the NFL draft in the 7th round. The last player picked overall. And usually that person never makes a roster. But this guy, I will say the thing that he actually had was opportunity. Because of injuries and stuff, he got the opportunity. What happened? He made the most of it with his opportunity to play on the field and never looked back. I tell you, I think that happened with Kurt Warner. Was a bag boy and all, and then got called in and he got on the field. So many times in the NFL, especially, and even college, it's opportunity. And that's why I hate this deal about practice players. Good. They don't practice well. They don't practice. Screw. I am like Allen Iverson as I get older. That's what pisses me off. It's practice. We're talking practice. Hey, oi, Studding's here. Hey, Studding. Good to see you. We're talking practice. I'm not an artist. I mean, I understand you guys with the art had to practice, but hey, good to see you tonight, Studding. Hope you're doing well and have not been cramped up in a vehicle tonight. But yeah, I mean, here's a guy that got a chance on the field, and of course everybody went down, but he took advantage of it, and they stayed with him, and it wasn't, well, let's replace him. They gave him a shot. He performed well, and he's now a starter in the NFL. I mean, look at Tom Brady. For all the criticism and all the hate for Tom Brady, but he was a 6th-round draft choice out of Michigan. He should not have been an NFL quarterback by draft standards. But it took one injury to Drew Bledsoe. He's out, and then he gets the job, and then he never lets go of it. So, hey, Amanda, good to see you. Sports Ball, Amanda. Amanda is our resident Cincinnati Bengals fan. Yay.
That's so tough for her. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, she loved her Bengals, though, the last couple of years. This year was a little harder. So
there's another team that's got the drought that they deserve something.
Exactly.
And the Browns.
Joe Burrow, he's my boy.
The Bills.
We need a Detroit Cincinnati Super Bowl or Detroit Jacksonville Super Bowl.
Or Detroit Cleveland.
Cleveland. That would I think that would be that would be ridiculous.
That would be a good one.
Love that.
And then the Who Day, and she heard what
Who
we
Dey.
said. So
Hey, they've got
good to
their
see you, man.
if
Yeah.
Joe Burrow stays healthy,
that's
he's
the
probably
problem
my
with-
favorite quarterback in the league.
But that's the
just
problem with
because
the Bengals is they can't keep him healthy. He's always getting bad line, lack of protection. He's getting hurt all the time.
But man, he's so. I'm about to nerd out about a guy who wasn't even in the playoffs. But man, I love that. Like, he's the cool. I'm gonna say he's the coolest quarterback in the league. I mean, he's sitting there smoking cigars in the locker room, no look throws. Dude's throwing people off him, throwing defensive linemen off of him. But so I like Joe Burrow. He's my favorite. There we go. It's official. I don't know what that has to do with the Super
fanboy
Bowl,
for
but-
him.
He's cool, man. I wish I could be like him.
Yeah,
They don't let me
Fair
smoke cigars in the apartment, so I don't think people would like that. That's not good
man.
for you.
That stinks. Why not? All right.
Yeah. Rules and whatever.
But
Rules are made to be broken, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, my safety deposit is made for me to hopefully get back.
Yeah. Well,
exactly. So, it's really interesting how we do this. Who's your favorite quarterback? I mean, you're fanboying over Woopah Troopah. You're fanboying over Burrow. What about you, SciFi Mombie or JT Kirk? Do you have one quarterback, either current or past, that you really love to talk about?
I like to talk about ones I don't like.
Yes, I know.
That list is quite long.
No, Matthew Stafford, top of the list, right?
Yeah, and then after that, you can talk maybe
Is
Scam
Matthew
Newton,
Stafford again?
Matthew Stafford, Scam Newton, Tom Brady, RG3. Let's see. We could keep going. Trubisky, Brett Favre, Ron Rodgers. Got my own names for all these people. So
Good. I like to hear them. That's kind of cool.
I'm noticing a lot of NFC North team.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure that's a coincidence.
Weird, huh? Yeah. Oh, geez.
Exactly.
I think I liked Purdy in this game better than Mahomes, if you had to pick the two, just from where he was coming from. But I don't think that team just had enough in the right spots to take KC. But I mean, they went to overtime, for goodness sake. So I mean, how much can I really say that? So
yeah. Well, I will tell y'all, folks, one thing is Stunning said earlier, he's been carving lava. He was using a teaspoon to carve out lava. Wow. If you check him out on Twitter, it's amazing looking at the picture there. Man, that's some detail work. Carving lava using a teaspoon, dude. That is amazing. So, SciFi Mombie, any other great quarterbacks that you've liked over the years that you're really excited to talk about?
Kurt Warner.
Mm-hmm.
That's only because when I really started getting into football, he was winning it for us in St. Louis. I remember from a kid, Troy Aikman, because my uncle always loved the Cowboys. I could think of several off the top of my head, like, Joe Montana and did I say it wrong? Montana. Sorry.
Montana.
That's
Montana. Oh, that's too funny.
the problem is a bunch of these.
My husband's over here laughing his ass off at me.
The problem is they put a bunch of these as commentary on TV, and I hate them talking on TV, and then I just don't like them as a quarterback.
Tony Romo is one of the. I tweeted out the other night, I don't care what you think on 4th and 3. You don't go for 4th and 3 like that. Oh, it's where San Francisco got either the touchdown or got the first down to set up a touchdown. So, actually, Stoney says, technically I'm smoothing out the clay and using the butt of a pencil to add lava flow lines. Oh, that is cool.
Oh.
So, all right. And everybody can call him Meggy now. So, hey.
Meggy.
Kind of like Chicken Nuggy. Yeah, but one of the ones, I will say Tebow was obviously one. I think Tebow is one of the ones that if they would have done what they do now, where they said, because when he came through, you had to take a snap under center, run read option. I mean, they criticize all that, but look at what all the read option in the NFL now. And he was one of the greatest of all time with that, and just did not get the right opportunity at the right time. Imagine taking these quarterbacks down, making them take every snap under center. Take Lamar Jackson, make him be a pocket passer under center. No, they don't. Then they changed all these for these other quarterbacks. So he's one that I have, but I will tell you, I didn't really like him at Florida at first. I was like Chris Leak, stayed with him, the senior, let Tebow earn his time, and gradually it worked into some magical. But my favorite quarterback of all time is none other than Roger the Dodger Staubach. As a grown up, as a kid, seeing him play, it was just fascinating to watch him play, and just enjoyed watching him over the years. And so that's one of my favorites. So any other thoughts on today's Super Bowl? Oh, I was waiting for this comment. No, only I can call him that. He is my Maggie, not yours.
I wanted to talk crap about the halftime show.
Feel free, folks. Yeah,
that thing.
He's an Usher hater.
Boring. So
I loved it.
Boring.
I loved it. Of course, Usher's my generation.
Well,
so,
well, he is mine too, but I still was like, I don't want to hear this auto-tune crap for another minute. And it just, there was a lack of talent out there. The music was slow. The music was boring. There was nothing to watch during the show.
Enough about Taylor Swift. Now let's get to the halftime show.
I mean, she would have brought some much needed entertainment into that halftime show. I was just like, this is the best you could do, but it is Usher, so he only has like so many songs.
I remember. Did he break the record for sweatiest individual you've ever seen? Like,
boy, he was blinking that out of his eyes, wasn't he? Oh man, that poor guy.
I've never seen that. I'm like, dude, this is like the the Key and Peele.
Throw that man a towel.
And he only took his shirt off so that way the women would like the show. I mean, that was it. But hey, congrats to him. He got married like that week after the game in Vegas. So good on him.
I'm trying to find something that I saw on Twitter, but so SciFi Mombie, what did you like about the halftime show? What about Usher's performance? The dancing, what about made it a good halftime show for you? Because I tell you, older people like me, my mom watching it hated it. A lot of the other people that I know that are older hated it. But what was good about it?
I just like Usher's music, and when he brought out Alicia Keys and her and Luda and Little John, I was like, yeah, it's a party now. It's just the songs that were around at that time in my life that you just, you cling to. So, and when he got on those roller skates, I was like, dude, that was us back in the day.
I do like Little
pretty
John.
awesome.
Yeah. Anything else? Just so I just remember just walking through school, just shouting, "What?"
Okay.
Stephen Colbert had a really funny skit after the Super Bowl, and he kept like saying really weird things, and he'd play like Little John going, "What?" Yeah, it was really funny.
I mean, I don't think I can point to a time where I was like, man, I love that halftime show. I don't think the halftime show is for me. I've only been to 2 concerts in my life, and they're both the same person. So I'm not very adventurous, I guess.
Yeah, y'all keep talking. I am pulling up a picture. I finally found what I was looking for. So
now I was shocked about Post Malone singing "America the Beautiful." That wasn't bad. That was really good, and I really liked Reba doing the national anthem.
I was surprised she sang it.
She had the players crying. Did you see that?
Yeah,
that's pretty legit.
My mom wanted to see her sing. I was like, I gave up on the national anthem many, many years ago because it's like I don't like the Hallelujah choruses. I remember one year when Nebraska crushed Florida in the national title game. It looks like a 20-minute glory national
Nebraska.
Hallelujah.
Nebraska
It was
in a
crazy.
national title game. What was that? The 1800s at this
No,
point?
1995.
Oh.
1995. There got
Ouch.
crushed. So Amanda
I don't
says,
think anyone could ever do the national anthem better than Whitney Houston.
yeah.
So, I mean, that's if you're going to put it next to that, you've got big shoes you're probably not going to fill. But I think she did a good job.
Well, speaking
At
of
least she
big
wasn't
shoes,
Roseanne Barr.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, speaking of big shoes to fill, Usher himself, or whoever this guy is, I don't think it's not Usher, but he's got a big hairdo and sunglasses.
Sounds
But
like Luda.
he
Not
had big
CeeLo Green.
shoes to fill. He had big shoes to fill of a great actor, one of the greatest characters of all time in any movie, anywhere. This was my highlight when I saw this meme the other day, right here.
Oh,
See? Dodgeball. White Goodman.
that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, ludicrous.
Nobody makes
Yeah.
me bleed my own blood.
Lobo Gyms.
Yeah, he's letting that fro go, isn't he?
Stunning's gonna love this one because Stunning said not enough big booby girls eating cheeseburger this year, but Stunning's the resident Chuck Norris meme. Yeah, White Goodman, fuck Chuck Norris.
You know what? I don't even remember seeing any Hardee's commercials at all this year.
Not at all this year. No go. Well, were they even GoDaddies? I don't.
Yeah,
GoDaddy's
it was
made-
weird.
Yeah. It's just like, but yeah, I saw this on Twitter the other day, and I like died when I saw it. Like, that's good.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That's good. White good. Cobras. And folks, if you've never seen Dodgeball, you got to see it. What a heck of a movie. So, all right. Well, any other thoughts on the Super Bowl? Because I do want to hit a couple other topics while we have time. If y'all have time with us tonight.
Who do you think, if either team is likely to do it again next year? See, because I don't think either team is going to be able to manage it again.
You know, they keep saying that about the Chiefs, and they
I
even
think the
had them as
Chiefs-
the underdog, and they keep coming back.
I think the Chiefs. I honestly think the Chiefs have to because because you got Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that says it all right there, and he keeps coming back. And this year, everybody kept trying to write off the Chiefs all season, but they stayed with it. And they kept bearing through some difficulties, situations. Then they ended up, making it, winning the game. So.
And he
So
definitely wants to break that NFL record of a team going back 3 times. Yeah.
He's in the top 5 right now, and he's only 4 behind Brady. But Chuck Norris is the master of dodgeball because all the enemy balls always go the opposite way, too scared to get popped by his eyelashes. There you go. Nice one, Stunning. Nice one. Well, let's hit a couple. Are we done? Are y'all done with the Super Bowl? And I got to show that meme with that.
Yeah, I think so.
Done? Okay. Let's talk a little Major League Baseball because, folks, we're talking about doing something going forward in a few weeks. We're still got some ideas to go out, but let's kick a couple of the topics around real quick. In the world of Major League Baseball, and Woopah, I hope you have those jerseys available. But Rob Manfred says he will step down as Major League Baseball commissioner in 2029.
Woo! Let's go.
It's needed. It's needed.
If only he could move that up like 4 years or something. That'd be great.
I saw a tweet out there today, and the question was he one of the worst, or could you name one worse? And I think, Woopah, you said Gary Bettman from the NHL, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, at this point, like I didn't think I'm like Gary Bettman. You can't beat Gary Bettman. But Rob Manfred's made me reconsider that all.
Well, see, I remember I've been out of baseball for so long, but see, I remember when Selig did this like overtime crap in the pitchers in the All-Star game and all the, if you win the All-Star game, you get win home field advantage. Or I remember all that crap. So I never really liked Selig. But what has Manfred done with the game that really causes the baseball fan to cringe or to not like him as the commissioner? And go ahead, JT, both y'all. Go ahead.
Let's say, how much time do you have?
Well, we've got a few minutes.
Take it away, Woopah.
All these rules that he's added. I don't
Good
like.
night, Amanda. Thanks for coming by.
Good night.
And hell, some small time Republic. Manfred is better than Selig, so we got it. Hey, small time, good to see you.
Crazy. No, all these rules that he's added, they just suck.
I like the runner on second.
The runner on second in extra innings. No one likes that. Who wants that? Get that out of there. If you want to do that, just say that they're ties. Like I don't want to see some random cheap ghost runner. Like extra innings aren't skill based anymore because you just get that. It's frustrating. I hate that rule. The whole adding a 6th wild card. We don't need a 6th wild card. It's stupid. 5, you know.
If you ask me, you need fewer teams playing for the World Series, not more.
Yeah, but I'm fine with like the extra wild card. I think you could have just made it like make that a series, best of 3 series. I don't understand why you're adding a 6th team, taking away. Basically, if you're the worst division winner, it doesn't matter. You're just getting that division. You know.
Yep.
It's stupid to me. I don't get it. I think banning the shift is dumb. Even if I don't like the shift, it's like the shift is there for a reason. The shift is there because the hitters just hit into it and they don't care. Like, well, the fans don't like the experience. It's like that's kind of true. But that's crazy. You know, that's like if you're banning the that's like if you're banning cover 2 because you're like, well, quarterbacks like to throw certain routes and the cover 2 affects that. Well, tell the quarterbacks to learn some different route. Like you don't have any other situation where I don't think you have any other situation where like a way to play has been banned because the offense can't adapt to it. You know, like it just seems ridiculous to me. What else has he done? Adding the DH. It was
the shot clock.
The shot clock. I hate that, but
the pitch clock. Oh God. See,
I call it the shot clock because that's basically what it is.
That's some of the stuff that I've been slow about wanting to get back into baseball for. And if I get back in, I will tell you it's only because of you 3 people. Because I hate what they've done. I call interleague play should never happen. The National League should only play the American League in the World Series because now it's inbreeding play. I'm sorry. And get the damn Budweiser sign out of friggin' Wrigley Field. Make it look like it was meant to be. Get the crap out of Boston Fenway Park and make it look like a freaking retro stadium.
The only time I really appreciate cross league play is if you have a crosstown rival. That's it.
That's been the whole pressure for all of it. Chicago, the 2 Chicago teams. Well, like Ang says about Fortnite, get good. The Chicago's get good. White Sox and Cubs and the Yankees and the Mets. I mean, forget the A's. They used to have them in San Francisco, but the A's just moved to Las Vegas, tear down a 50-year-old hotel, and build a stadium in the middle of. Well, I got friends in Vegas to say that's going to be a cluster if traffic's not already bad enough in Vegas. So, oh my God, I think I'm wanting to get back in baseball. I'm going on a rant about friggin' Major League Baseball, and I don't even watch it anymore. But it just that stuff bothers me. It's the tradition, and we've talked about on the college football lately. The transfer portals and all this crap and these opt-outs are killing the game, the tradition of the game. And things like that. And everything that baseball has done in the last 15 to 20 years has been to kill the tradition. They're speed up the games. So this thing. The beauty of a Major League Baseball game, you know why I watched it? Because on Sunday afternoons, I could come home after church, lay down on the couch, turn WG on because we could have super stations that didn't cost everybody an arm and leg, but God forbid if we have to now all pay for all of it. We got to ban the super stations to carry in all the games. I could take a nap at 3 o'clock, fall asleep, and I'd wake up in the 7th or 8th inning for the end of the game. It's a beautiful thing. Those things, so many traditions. So anyway, but hey, like Small Time says, the shift would not work against the greats like Tony Gwynn or Wade Boggs. Exactly.
Right. No,
it's meant for the Barry Bonds and the Mark McGuire's and the guys who refuse to go the other way and actually hit the ball like real hitters. And I agree with you. It's communist.
I hate it. Like, okay, the only reason I don't absolutely despise the DH is because we got to have Albert Pujols back, and that was cool. Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah. It was a great send off. After that, it sucks. Like, there's no time where I'm like, man, I'm really glad I have the DH so we can watch our 9th best hitter hit instead of the pitcher. Like, I'd rather have the pitcher. I'd rather have the strategy that's behind all of that. That was a huge thing that I love. And you're right about the shift. Like, it wouldn't work on people. And don't let these people gaslight you. Like, oh, what you think people can just go opposite field so easy against like modern pitching. There's plenty of players that have an even spray chart, and they're not just like MVPs, right? Cardinals had a guy, 2022 rookie, wasn't even expected to make the team. He comes up, he has an even trade chart. You're telling me this unheralded rookie can somehow do something that no one else can do? No one just wants to do it. No one says, "Oh, I'll just, I don't care that they're shifting. I'm just going to try and hit over it," which is stupid. Like it's not a skill. It's just people people are trying to tell you it's impossible, and it's not. Like, it's just that they refuse to adapt. They're saying, "Oh, it's going to make the game more interesting," but it's artificial. It's stupid. It's just really annoying to me. I don't like a lot of these changes. And I get really annoyed. They made the bags, the bases bigger. I don't really care about that.
Well, that's so they can pretend to actually still be on the base. Or actually hit the base when they run around them, because they get lazy doing that too.
Yeah, and it's just it's fine. Like, it's not going to ruin the game for me. All things considered, bigger base stealing is a minor change, but I'm already getting annoyed with it because they had Ronald Acuna. He's like, "Oh, he had 70 stolen bases. He's the first player to have 40 homers and 70 stolen bases." It's like, okay. Oh, that's true. You're going to not pretend like he suddenly got better at stealing bases, or like his 70 stolen bases is the same as like Ricky Henderson's much more than 70 stolen bases. Like, it's very different. I get it. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, like, they're kind of like, it's an artificial thing. It is fun. Like, I don't hate that rule. I just hate that people are like, they made the bases bigger, and people are already pretending like stolen base today is the same as a stolen base like last year. I think that's silly. Anyways, okay.
It seems like the talent level isn't what it used to be.
Yes.
And I mean, it's lackluster, and it's showing. I mean, we didn't even see it down here. We have the baby birds here, and you sit there and you watch them, and you're going, yeah.
Well, good evening, Miss Smart Muses. Welcome in. We've got completely Super Bowl. Now we're talking into Major League Baseball. You just missed the rant that I went on, but it's like, it's like my kid says, get good. The hitters get good, because one of the greatest games of all time was in 1985. It was the New York Mets and Atlanta Braves, and it was July 4th, 1985. It was a July 4th game. They had fireworks that night. The game did not get over till after 3 o'clock in the morning. They went 18 innings, and it was capped off when Rick Camp, a pitcher coming in to pinch hit, an 060 hitter, jacked a home run to win the game. That's what made baseball good. Drama like that. Yeah, it's a long way. Davey Johnson and Darryl Strawberry got thrown out of the game in the 17th inning, arguing balls and strikes, because Terry Tater, the ump at the time, remembered that Davey Johnson said, "Hey, at 3 o'clock in the morning, anything's a strike." It is. I don't know about this Bull Durham speech, but I have got to go look at it later. But
I remember.
Yeah, so you're doing a really good job.
Hopefully you like baseball, Miss Smart Muses. If not, we'll find a sport. I know international soccer. I know football. We'll have to do that sometime. And Small Time Republic actually likes the new pitch clock rule they put in place last year. Games were getting longer and longer. But see, I see, and my thing against it is, I think when it comes down to just a few seconds before, it can affect whatever happens. And honestly, baseball is one of those games you deal with it. The main thing I hated with is when the batter stepped out all the time. The umpire doesn't have to give him timeout. And I've seen umpires say, "No, you stay in the box. We're not giving you timeout." The pitcher, if he gets off the rubber, it's like, no. I mean, I call a balk, but especially the biggest drama has been, to me, batters. Batters have stepped out, and the umpires don't have to give the time. So, I'll have to watch that off screen.
Yeah.
But
it's not the worst thing. I just feel like it wasn't well executed. Like, they rushed, they cobbled together all these rules. I mean, a pitcher did. It was Max Scherzer did something that was kind of smart and pretty cool in the preseason to like game the clock, and then they're like, actually, you can't do that. And like they had all these weird rules that they just kept adding, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Just like let them like. There was so much stuff. I'm like, just let them throw the ball. You don't need all these. If you're gonna have a timer, you don't have to have like, well, the batter has to be in the box by 8 seconds, and the pitcher can't be sitting on the mound ready with that until this time, and all this stuff. It's like, why are you adding all these speculation? Like, just have them say, hey, listen, if you don't, I don't know if I would like it still. I think I might be a hater, but I would probably not be complaining as much if the rule was just like, hey, you've got 20 seconds, throw the ball by 20 seconds. Yeah. That's a simple rule. They have to add all these caveats to the point where people are getting dinged for the silliest things.
I say that the umpires need to open up the strike zone a little bit better. I mean, instead of pinching the refs,
when Angel Hernandez was on behind the plate, the strike zone's wide open.
Yeah, it's like have a bigger strike zone. Don't have the umpires pinching the pitchers on all those close ones. Make it where you encourage the batters to swing the bat. Hell, if you wanted to call 3 balls a walk and 2 strikes a strikeout, fine with that. The time is just to me just unnatural. I mean, but
I don't think it makes that much of it. Like to me, I feel like it's a rule that helps people who don't like baseball watch baseball more. And like if you don't like baseball, you don't like baseball. I know my friend, he'll watch baseball, but in the end of the day, if you have an MLB game on at the same time as an NFL game or an NBA game
or a college football game.
Like he's not going to watch. He's going to watch baseball when it's the only sport on, and he's not going to care still. Like it doesn't, this rule is not going to be like, wow, I really like baseball now.
And spring football is coming for their lunch at the beginning of the season.
UFL. Yep. Which we're planning on covering some. Yeah.
The Olympics, the Summer Olympics eat a piece out of that. There's other things.
Now, the three of y'all, how big a baseball fan, Major League Baseball fans are you? Woopah, SciFi, Mombie, JT, Kirk. Are y'all big MLB fans?
I'm casual, and if the Tigers make a playoff run, I'll watch the playoff games. Okay. And I'll go to a couple games a year, usually. Yeah.
I don't need to ask a question to Woopah. I know the answer for that already.
All my earliest sports memories are baseball.
You know what y'all are going to do? Y'all are going to drag me back into friggin' Major League Baseball this year, I believe. Yeah. Because listen how passionate I enjoyed talking baseball right there. And I really did, and all that. But I'm going to SciFi. You might not like it, but go Cubbies. So.
How dare you?
The other thing, Dadman, is you look, and to build on Woopah's point here is, the NBA and the NHL have like an average age of like 42 for the NBA, 49 for the NHL. Yeah. And you're trying to look at key demo, and do they have kids to keep the generation going to the park in the future? And do they have the disposable income? Are they doing this, that, and the other? And then the average age of the NFL is not really a big jump, but it's 51. So you're looking at 9 years older for an NFL fan than the NHL or than the NBA. Sorry. The NBA is kind of the young person's league. And then you go up to the MLB, and it's 57 years old is the average fan age. Yep. That's not where you want that number to be if you're, all these different teams.
Well, what about disposable income though? That's all set to me is the disposable income. Usually the older people have more of the money to spend to go to the games and things.
The only thing though I think would be I don't know how things are where you guys are, but like baseball tickets are about the easiest thing to get. Like if you wanted to, I get cheaper tickets for the MLB than I did for the UFL. That being said, I got pretty good UFL tickets, and I usually get nosebleeds at the Cardinals games. But like getting a baseball ticket because they've got these 40,000 capacity stadiums, it's pretty cheap. All things considered. I mean, it's still pretty expensive. Yep. Certain games will be expensive, but it's different than like if you wanted to go to a Blues game here. Even though the Cardinals are more popular than the Blues, Blues is going to probably be $100 to get in. No matter what. You know,
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a competition here for the Tigers and the Pistons because the Pistons have been bad since like 2006. And they
That
recently
long,
set the
wow.
record for the highest number of consecutive losses ever in an NBA season.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that was this year. So
Hey.
they are not selling many.
Detroit.
I'll put it
They-
that way.
They had to make up for Detroit, the Lions, success. So,
Well, and the Lions are darn near impossible to afford those.
I bet,
gosh.
nowadays. So, $900 your friend had that for the playoff tickets. Wow, that was something.
Yeah.
Well, to finish
Yeah.
this article that got us on this really more than half-hour thing is that Manfred replaced Bud Selig as commissioner in January 2015, has given 2 5-year terms, and basically gave him a third term. He announced this. He's been a lawyer, worked with MLB since 1987, first as an outside counsel, then as chief negotiator, then took over from Selig, who spent 18 years as commissioner. And in Manfred's tenure, the game has undergone vast changes. The successful implementation of a pitch clock last year coincided with a nearly 10% increase in attendance. And in 2022, Manfred oversaw playoff expansion to 12 teams. Dear God, that's way too many for a 162-game season.
And I'll tell you, they talk about look,
because if you want to complain about the length against, what about the length of the season? You're expanding the playoffs that much. What's the point of that many games? Go ahead, Woopah.
I was gonna say, they'd say like, oh, look, it was a 10% increase in attendance. When you look at things, do you think that there was anything that happened in 2022, 2021, 2020 that might have affected attendance like a little bit? Is there anything?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. So they're like, oh, look, all these people are really showing up. Like, yeah, that's because, there's an obvious thing that happened that's affected.
Yes.
But
in that particular year, yes. What Small Time Republic also says eventually there will be automated ball strikes called. Saw it in an independent league game several years back. Hey, and Buddy Hepburn, welcome, buddy. Yeah.
Next thing we know, AI will be the umps.
Yeah.
No, I think they're getting there. I'm not a fan of it, but I'll say the umpires have done that to themselves, kind of. There's this. Yeah. It's the point where there's plenty of games where you don't notice the umpires. You don't talk about the umpires because they do a fine job.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them, we give them a lot of crap.
It's like Fight Club.
Dadman gets mad that we give them a lot of crap. But, there's a lot of times where it's like, umpires do a fine job. Yeah. But when an umpire does bad, you really notice. And you can't get rid of these umpires. They're protected. Yeah. You can't
unionize.
Cowboy Joe West.
Fire.
Yes.
Gosh, oh my gosh. But you can't get rid of them until they choose.
Sorry.
You can't get rid of them until they choose to retire. Yeah. If the MLB had something where it's like, hey, you guys have to go. Like, you guys suck. Because there's metrics on this that say, hey, these guys suck.
Small time.
I believe it.
Yeah, like
I totally
right.
believe it.
So,
exactly.
I think that's the thing. If you just got rid of, there's a lot of umpires do a great job. I don't know if you look at umpire scorecards, they're a great asset. If you just said, hey, you have a performance review, a lot of these guys are good. You keep them. You maybe say, hey, these guys are bad. They need to go, or we need to send, quote unquote, send them down and bring up some of the AAA umpires that have been good. I think you would stop having people ask about like automated strike zones, but because they keep these terrible umps in, they're getting to the point where it's like, I sometimes, even if I don't want it, it's hard for me to defend against it. Like,
right.
People bring up these things and it's like, well, your concerns are totally valid. I can't disagree with that.
No, Buddy is here. Hey, Buddy, good to see you. Says A's games are still cheaper than other sports team there. Well, you have them. Giants and Sharks are a lot more for tickets, parking, and concessions. And Buddy said, is Angel Hernandez still around?
Sadly.
Oh my God, he's got to be like 90 because I remember years ago he was coming into the league. That's great. And I agree. You should not know the umpire or referee's names.
Mm-hmm.
A good official. That's why I try to officiate basketball. I try to stay out of the game as much as I can. because it's
Mhm.
you call what's legitimate, and and sometimes you have to ramp down to keep tempers in control, but you shouldn't be the star of the show, and we've seen many cases where umpires take over a game in all the sports. So
I was gonna say if A's games are even cheaper than Sharks games, that says a lot given how the Sharks have been lately.
well, guess what? Here, this will make you excited. I'm sure Small Time Republic Buddy may have some input on this. His tenure, Manfred's tenure, will be defined by his handling of the Astros cheating scandal, which they gave players. This is from ESPN.com's article.
How he didn't handle it, you mean?
Blanket immunity in exchange for their testimony. Quote, maybe not my best decision ever, end quote, he told Time magazine.
That's an understatement of the century.
He also oversaw the lockout of players in 21-22 that pushed the game to the precipice of a significant work stoppage. They struck a deal on a 5-year collective bargaining agreement that will expire after 2026 season. And of course, here's the kicker. Before Manfred leaves the job, he said Thursday he hopes to have a process, quote, in place for the league to expand to 32 teams. How many more Major League Baseball teams do we need?
I think we already have too many.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, we got to get rid of the Tigers.
We're going to have to have just a baseball special after you guys got me on this tangent. Gosh. Okay. But we got to get to something in time because I did want to hit hockey real quickly. But Woopah, do you have the pictures here? Because part of his press conference with Manfred preaches patience on new uniforms. Oh, dear God. I have not seen this. This is fresh to me. So, Buddy Hepburn, you want to rant? Miss Martin Muses, if you're still here, want to rant? Small Time Republic. Whoop. Stunning. I'm sure rant time's coming. Although some players and many fans on social media have criticized the new Nike Vapor. Oh, God, I already hate it. Premier uniforms.
Some fans.
Cheaper.
They say that like I've seen any fans who are happy with it.
They will become, quote, popular. He says, quote, we always pay attention to what people are saying about the new initiative. Any new initiative. As you know, in baseball, with the new initiative, there's going to be some negative feedback. Some. First and important, these are Nike jerseys. We entered this partnership with Nike because of who they are and the kinds of products they produce. Well, we don't want to even get into politics with the labor. Anyway, we'll see.
Also important to note before this does change things. They say, oh, these are Nike jerseys. We're making it because it's Nike jerseys. These are not Nike jerseys. These are Fanatics jerseys. That's a big like distinction.
That's a huge difference. Yeah.
Well, okay, help me understand. You know what is Fanatics? Is it a company or I know
Fanatics is owned by Nike. They make a lot of essentially cheap crap. And the thing is, it's usually not that expensive. It's made for fans. I still don't really like it, but it's the type of thing where it's like you know what you're getting when you're dealing with Fanatics usually.
If you're shopping with that major river company online, Dadman, a lot of times the quote-unquote official gear is Fanatics.
Well, one player who wanted to remain anonymous, oh boy, that's something, said, quote, they're not great, definitely not an advancement. And so go ahead.
There's a big difference between the NFL shop and Fanatics. I mean, the stuff that you get out of the NFL shop is much better quality. You know where it's coming from. But with I bought a couple of Chiefs shirts off of Fanatics, and they are the thinnest, crappiest women's shirts I've ever bought in my life.
Oh yeah.
But I paid the upcharge just to have the Super Bowl, on the shirt.
Right. So you have to save it as a souvenir and not wear it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So Manfred said the jerseys are different. They're designed to be performance wear as opposed to what's been traditionally. Oh dear God. Why can we not leave something traditional in baseball? Please. They're going to be different. They've been tested more expensively than any jersey in sport. The feedback from the All-Star game last year where the jerseys were worn were uniformly positive from the players. So I think after people wear them a bit, they're going to be really popular. Okay, let's see this damn thing.
Yeah.
And Buddy's saying the Majestic jerseys are way better. Okay, let's see this travesty.
All right, so this is what they wore last year. I use this because I have
Which looks like a traditional. It does look like a traditional baseball jersey. Yeah.
traditional baseball jersey. Also, all of this is sewn in. That's a big difference. They don't have the new jerseys. This is another one, same old, hard to
It's
see.
not ironed on.
It's not ironed on. It's sewn on. These new ones are ironed on, which is like the ones that you buy when you even on the official store, unless you want to buy the $350
Or at Walmart,
jerseys.
right in the front.
Yeah, which is fine for a fan jersey, not for a real jersey. And then
Exactly.
here is, you see this. This is the new jersey. Look at that.
What
crap. Look at that crap.
What is that? A pair of pajamas?
It's like, it looks bad. That name placement is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like that looks like people were joking. This looks like they went and got like those the knockoffs you get overseas. This is harder to see, but it still looks like crap.
What do I think Sparky Anderson was rolling over his grave with the look of those? I mean, they look so wrinkled. Gosh. I mean, the whole thing was to have a pressed baseball uniform. Those things look horrible with just wrinkles.
Mm-hmm. And you got this. Like, look at first of all, look at what the catcher's wearing. Wilson Contreras. Like, what's the font?
What's the font size on that damn
lettering? No idea. It looks so weird.
Whatever.
I was going to say,
the name is
Swish.
I was about to say, I'm like,
small.
who provided it? Oh, I think that's Nike. Mm-hmm.
And it's so weird. Like,
way too big.
Like with this name is not long. Michaelis is not long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters. It fits just fine with a very slight arch. This, it's like, why do you need to arch that? That would fit perfectly fine if you just have it straight across. It's a weird thing. And this is one of the better here. I just had, obviously I had more Cardinals stuff since I'm a Cardinals fan. This is the best comparison I have. This is last year, Michael Kopech. Looks pretty. I think this jersey looks nice. I like the White Sox jerseys. You can tell it feels high quality. This is him this year with that.
Oh,
like, look at that.
God.
What is
a huge difference?
That looks like a kid's T-ball uniform.
It does.
Yeah.
With the small letters.
It's so bad. And I don't understand what the MLBs think. Like, I could tell, I'm not a huge jersey buyer. I do have 2 Cardinals jerseys, and I have 4 random NFL jerseys because I'm a weirdo. But, you know, I buy jerseys from time to time. I wanted to buy another jersey. I'm not buying this crap. Who wants to buy this? This looks worse. Like, this genuinely looks worse than the fan jerseys that I have. And the fan jerseys are fan jerseys. They're not real. And it's just like, I don't know what they're thinking. And yeah, the first thing here, I can the tweet that goes back with this. This is the back of the white jerseys. Look like with the new template, players are pretty unhappy. Michaelis said they also don't fit right. The pants are no longer as customized, and the fabric is a very different consistency. They look cheap, another player said. And they're right. It's like, no one likes this. Like they're saying, I think the players are really good, like it. Oh, we heard great reviews from who? Because I have not, like, all of the feedback. Like, not like 60%. Not 50%, not 70%, like 100%. I saw one person who said people are overreacting, but he didn't say he liked it. He just said he thought people were overreacting.
No, they just had the Nike back office staff go out to Yelp and, you know, put in all those fake reviews.
That's freaking ridiculous.
It's just bad.
Small time Republic. Yeah, we don't need Nike swooshes on rear ends, so. Buddy said the City Connect uniforms from last year were ugly too. Now, Small Town Republic saying the worst MLB jerseys ever were the quote futuristic ones several teams wore on a weekend in 1999. This was I found an article on this because it was actually supposed to be like uniforms of the future. So I'm going to bring this up. Yeah, well, let me.
Okay,
if they were really Nike uniforms, though, there's going to be like 50 variants for every team every single year, and like 45 of them are going to look butt ugly.
That's another. That's another thing I hate.
College football. Seattle Mariners. This was the Seattle Mariners in 1999.
Okay, those are pretty bad.
That's like, what the hell?
Oh, wow.
Hey, those are the boys of summer right there.
And see, that like 100%. That looks terrible.
Cut them off interest.
It's tacky.
100%. That looks terrible. But first of all, that's kind of hilarious.
Well, you want to say terrible?
they
Yeah.
realized after a weekend, they're like, yeah, we should get rid of these, you know?
What's terrible is this thing that came in the Seattle Mariners game.
This is like a backrooms monster.
Oh
What the
God!
heck
Hey,
is
it's
that?
Sci-Fi Buck Rogers, JT. Look at the Mariners. They got like
Oh
the
wow,
overhang.
you are right. You
they
are
got the
absolutely
overhang.
right.
Well, where's Daisy and Hungry? It's like they're not just not to the shoulder. They actually have the little overhangs. Wow. And then this
That is totally
whatever
Buck Rogers.
Wow. So that's the Mariners.
Too
oh my
funny.
God. You're right, Small Time Republic. Thank you for that. Let's see if I can find one more. Oh, that's the Mercury, the Mets. Oh God, the Mercury Mets.
Mercury
What is that
Mets.
like a biologic? Okay, this is like
That's a
what?
little-
This is like the gender sign, and it's like a person up there. It's like a.
That's weird.
It's like a circle and a T. It's like a body, two antennas. I don't know. It's just
No,
like right there on his chest. It's like a little person.
those are the worst. He,
I like God.
Small Time Republic is
Oh.
correct.
Yes,
my
exactly. And
At least that's the thing,
Pirates.
though. At least
Look at the Pirates here. This is again futuristic
That's-
Buck Rogers.
that's the
the-
old
the-
logo they
these-
had, didn't they?
Yeah,
That's
but-
a really weird
But
looking.
still, it's giant. It was never that big. It was never pull over.
Right.
But these arm shoulder things that are getting me. This is out straight out of Buck Rogers.
It looks like that
It's
episode of
sci-fi.
Futurama with Beanball.
Yeah.
Barnes Ball. Yeah.
Oh, Tweaky could be the ball boy. Yes, exactly. We got 10 of y'all still with us tonight. Oh, there you go. Jim Leyland, one of the greatest managers around. There's the Rocky.
Yes, sir.
This is
Isn't that,
minor.
isn't that a toddler's t-shirt right there?
Oh, God, I hate baseball.
I think our
jerseys.
oldest son wore something like that when he was 2.
Probably
Baseball
looks like-
older than
jerseys
that.
must be buttoned up. Baseball jerseys of the major league must be buttoned up.
Yeah,
Pull
They
over
keep-
hefty.
not that.
The way that they have these like sleeves all puffy, did they expect that in the future that baseball would have like shoulder pads or something? Like I'm confused.
Buck Rogers again. Maybe they got inspiration from Buck Rogers. Maybe they're Trek fans or something. They just said, "Hey, let's throw a sci-fi." They want it futuristic, like Small Time said. Let's make it futuristic. Yeah, where's
Right.
Johnny Depp at studying? And yeah, I agree. This is the biggest problem that I've also had, and I bitch and moan about baseball. What's happened with damn baseball? Two things. One, get the damn reporters off the field. You don't talk to the managers, coaches during the damn game. Get that sideline report crap out. You don't talk to the managers in the game. Second is the managers need to wear a damn numbered uniform with the name on it, like every other player, like it's always been, and not these damn hefty bags and practice jersey things. Sorry, it's like a damn lawyer not wearing a tie and coat. Damn, I'm on a rampage tonight. Wow. Y'all are getting me sucked back into baseball.
Well,
Thank
it's
you.
frustrating when they change tradition.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
That's the
yeah, I
biggest
can
thing.
understand that you want to do, you could see a process that needs improving, but don't alter it this bad.
What are they going to do? Like take his belt now? Take all the belts away and like have Velcro or some like
They should have
use
suspenders.
strings? Suspenders. There you go,
Instead.
JT. That's what they were. Yes.
Oh, gosh.
You know, I actually said, Small Time, Jim Leyland and Sparky Anderson were both born old. I actually had a co-worker, a former boss, that told me I was born old also. So, buddy, I still the 80s pullover jerseys. Some of them had them at times, and I think the Cincinnati Reds were ones that did it. But I just always like the look of the button-up jerseys. For a baseball jersey, there's the button-up that gets me the best. Now, see, Stunning's right. Hockey jerseys were the best when they looked like a superhero suit. But the Missus and I actually bought a couple minor league hockey jerseys. We loved wearing those things. Those were things were so oversized and a lot of fun. Get Lois any problem to fill. Two reporters, yes. Let's see if we have another one. The Royals. See, some of the pictures didn't pull up here. So, all right. Well, there's other teams
a
that
lot
had
of
it.
that's the thing. I mean, not with these, but more like all the new jerseys in MLB. What JT was talking about with like, all these Nike jerseys have like 50 alternatives. It ruins the tradition of it.
It's
all.
like making 50 covers for comic books,
Yeah,
50 alternate covers. Who wants that? Well, nobody but the people trying to make the money, I suppose.
and you look at a lot of these colleges, look at a lot of these teams, they're ruining. It's bad in the NBA and it's bad in college football, where you have these teams that have had
San Francisco
Oh gosh.
I'm sorry, what
That's
town are
old.
they from? I couldn't tell.
San Francisco.
In case
The
you were
Giants.
wondering.
Jeez.
That's not fabulous enough for me to be a
Fair
San
enough.
Francisco jersey.
But sorry, Woopah, I just saw that one. So
No, but it's like you have all these. College football has a lot of tradition. NBA
Mhm.
used to have a lot of tradition, and now it's just like all these traditional jerseys are throwing them out. They're
Yeah.
getting these new
look
jerseys.
at the Oregon
these
Ducks.
Weird
The
stuff.
Oregon Ducks
Yeah.
can't make up as what friggin' color they want. They got like four shades of green and yellow. You know, it just
It's annoying because it is like you have that tradition, something that the Cardinals fans have really been ticked off by. Like you get a Cardinals uniform from like, and not up to Roger Hornsby, but pretty close to him back in like the 1910s, 1920s. Probably, definitely when Musial started. Like Cardinals jerseys when they were playing, he was starting playing in the 1940s, are pretty much the same as the current ones. The only difference they made is like Cardinals have a baby blue version back when everyone decided they wanted a baby blue version for some reason. Though I do like it. But it's like you've got the birds on the bat. That's a big deal.
Ozzie Smith doing backflips in it.
Yeah. And it's like that's tradition. You're talking about like almost like 90 years of tradition with that with those jerseys, and now you're making this weird crap with it, switching brands, trying all these alternatives. I hope they don't do it too much with the Cardinals. It's like they're doing that with other teams. The Cardinals are lucky in the sense that even these jerseys look bad. They're keeping the similar style, but so much of this is so many teams have already had kind of this tradition ruined, and it's like, why are we messing with this? What's the point? Like, keep the tradition of these jerseys. I think they do it because they want to boost the sales. It's like, these people really are going to want to buy every variant. But I don't think you're going to get that. Like I said, I'm not going to buy any of these crappy jerseys. No. I don't think most people are going to want to buy these jerseys. I bet within 2 years they're going to change back jerseys because the players don't seem to like it. And I think they're going to see a downturn in sales.
They do it for holiday jerseys, and Stunning said, I saw a dude at Comic-Con wearing a jersey with the LA Kings colors, but had the Decepticon logo on the front with Megatron. Then he played number 84 for obvious reasons. I want one. There you go. And we'll just detour to college football real quick. Florida's 20. Yes, because the Gators do have to go even to Austin this year. He should have been fired last year. The guy, I talked with my aunt tonight, and she says, well, be patient. I'm like, no. The Florida, just especially the way they played against Florida State at the end of the year, lost discipline. Travis Etienne transfers out because why? Your best freaking running back. I just go for a real name, please. For once, quit hiring these futuristic coaches. Anyway, they're like futuristic jerseys.
Hey, you should hire.
Republicans on that with that schedule, though. Yes,
you should hire. Dave Aranda. He'll be a great coach for you.
I'll take him.
Please take him off our hands. We need to be void of this damn contract.
At least he can win 8 games and I'll be happy. So there you go. So
that's a stretch. He's only done that once, and other years.
But
I just want to get rid of his contract. He's signed for like 2028. We are screwed, man.
Exactly. You're stuck with him. Well, let's get back to baseball real quick. Then we'll get on hockey, and then we'll close up. Manfred is also confident on his moves to Vegas. Sorry, buddy, you guys losing your team out there. They don't even guarantee to play in Vegas in a stadium for, I think, a few more years. But
the mayor said I don't know how much of that is politicking, but the mayor said he doesn't think that, the mayor said she doesn't think they're going to get a deal done, which is like, oh, okay.
Well, they're building a stadium. They're demolishing the Tropicana Hotel to make way for the new,
do we really need to be doing all this in the desert? I mean, I don't want to sound like this eco crybaby, but do we really need to be putting all these major league teams to just keep building and building and building Vegas out? I mean, come on.
Well, he still says he remains confident that the move to Las Vegas is solid. So what is the doubt? I thought that they all decided this was going to happen. Now, while the A's
So
played
all
Oakland in
the owners
2024,
did.
they're searching for a temporary home while the move is to Vegas would open in 2028. So
Why do they have to steal everybody else's teams? You know?
Yeah, exactly. Oh God, small town republic. This is a moral ethicism question right here.
He could go to Alabama if Alabama wants to change their mind.
Give me Lane Kiffin instead of Urban Meyer. I don't know that we could ever go back, but also he wouldn't want to come back because he burned too many bridges around here. He never fit in. But so that's, I think, about. Oh, I guess now there's a big thing about fabricating injuries. Oh God, well, shut up. I'm bored with you, Manfred. You've had your time tonight. But that's our Major League Baseball talk. We went about an hour Major League Baseball talk. That's more baseball talk than I've talked.
Yeah. And about 40 minutes of that was us being angry.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Probably more than that, honestly.
It was a therapy
shouting
session.
at clouds and all that.
All right. Well, I don't want to go to. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap up in just a few minutes. But I wanted to just do some hockey real quick because you guys like hockey too. I know that JT definitely a Red Wings fan. You guys are definitely the Blues fans here.
Blues.
Right.
I feel like I know what you're going to talk about. Maybe not.
Well, let's see. Right now, let's take a look at the East or the Eastern Conference, the Atlantic Division. The Florida Panthers lead. Let's see. I'm going to bring the screen up here. We can show it. Look at the current standings. Looks like New Jersey Devils are playoff eligible. I need to just start watching it since I have the expanded ESPN. But the Panthers went from the 8th seed in the playoffs last year to now top seed in the East. I mean, how about that for a turnaround? They're tied with 74 points with the Boston Bruins. 54 games in.
Toronto's having a decent year.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No
I was just shocked by that.
It's not the first round of the playoffs yet, so.
Well, and my Devils are just on the outside. They're 9th overall, so it looks like they have a little catching up to do. But hey, it's still a team that's never been the same without Martin Brodeur once he retired. But of course, when they changed all the rules in the league because they don't want defensive hockey, anyway. But hey. That's Rangers. Martin D with C will be happy. They have a very good year with the Carolina Hurricanes, who I hate. The Flyers are at 65. So Detroit Red Wings. Detroit, at the end of the day, would be the. I won't speculate on playoff seeding because I know it's wonky what they've done. Things have changed in a lot of these sports since I looked at it. But that's where we sit with the NHL right now. All of us have teams that are within contention. We're not Ottawa Senators or Columbus Blue Jacket. Oh, look at the Pittsburgh Penguins down.
Penguins.
All right, so let's go over to the JT. Any thoughts though with your Red Wings?
I sure hope they make it because if they don't, I don't really want to talk hockey.
That's good. I'm kind of like that with my Devils back there, just pulling up the rear. So it's like
the Wings. When I was a kid, the Wings had their 1990s run at a whole bunch of cups, and then they did it in 2008, and then they had the stupid commissioners come in and ruin salary cap and who was in what conference and all the rest, and it's been hard for them to do anything since. So I've got a big grudge on the league, and so I feel like that's robbed Hockeytown of victory for quite a number of years and pushed it off to places like, all these southern states that don't care about hockey.
I refuse to follow a Florida team in hockey. There should not be a Florida hockey team, period.
Or San Jose, Anaheim. I mean, places that will never get, they'll never see ice outside of a Coca-Cola for their whole life, And then these are the teams that you keep with your stupid salary cap demands and all the rest. Those are the teams that are winning. And then they wonder why nobody watches hockey anymore.
These are issues we can talk about too. Because your traditional teams are now in the bottom and middle pack and bottom of the league now.
And those were where your fan bases were really big. And why did those teams get started there? Because it was cold.
Look at the Chicago Blackhawks.
Well,
I
they
mean,
can stay at the bottom for forever.
I
They
know,
can.
but still,
They
traditional
deserve that.
teams, though, so
Yes, they do.
yeah. Gosh. The good thing Jess isn't here. So the Blues look like they're probably right on the verge of the playoff. They almost look like the Devils in a way. But Dallas and Colorado leading the Central. Wow, that's a bad season for Chicago or San Jose. Wow. So, but once again, we bring up, and these are topics we can talk about another day because I know we need to wrap up soon. But like Vegas, Golden Knights, talk about jacked up.
Boo.
Everybody were upset when the Jaguars and the Panthers got all these deals and you see both teams got it in playoff runs within the first couple of years in the NFL, but the Vegas Knights almost won a NHL Stanley Cup right off the bat because of the ham-fisted let's go to benefit this expansion team. No other expansion team would have been gifted, and they've never looked back. They had a bad year since they've been in the league.
No. And
No.
The most annoying thing is that Vegas was insufferable almost right away. At least the Kraken, I don't have any reason to hate the Kraken. Vegas is annoying, man.
Yeah.
I'm sick of these guys. You have been in the league for 3 years, and I'm already sick of you.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a little bit of our hockey. Go ahead.
Yeah, you look at this. If you bring Pacific back up there,
I'll bring it. Yeah.
You look at that. You have Vegas, LA, and San Jose, 3 cities that are, unless you get some weird desert weather, you're never going to see snow there. People don't play hockey there. Come on. In Anaheim too, but at least they have a decent history. If you're going to have a California team, stop putting all these teams in who have no fan bases into the finals, or in those cities to begin with. There are plenty of other northern cities that they could have put those teams in and gotten a decent fan base. I refuse to believe that was the only city that would take another NHL team.
It's gotten to the point where I cheer for the Canadian team sometimes. Let's get Edmonton to have some greatness.
Go that far.
Well, versus the Vegas Knights.
Listen, I enjoy seeing Canada lose at the sport that they made. It amuses me.
We'll have to talk to Ramlin Kanak about that. So
yeah.
Oh, Buddy says that they do get snow in the hills. So they do get some snow. Or hey, it happens.
Okay.
I know what you mean. I got you. It's all good. It's kind of like me on commercials and ads in Major League Baseball. To me, when I grew up, I was an usher in a minor league baseball park. That's where you had the billboard, the outfield wall marked up with ads and this, that, and the other stuff. Because that's how they made money back then. And now to see it in Major League Baseball, it's like, really, you bastardize it, because back then it was like, that's minor league, and now it's like, let's jack up the money. It's like, it truly is like, let's put a price tag on every little thing and sell everything to everybody. So
pretty soon they'll do the jersey ads that they do in World Football and then in NASCAR and all that crap.
Why not?
They've been starting it with the NBA. It's getting worse and worse over there.
And I'm surprised that they still even play music for the people when they walk out, and they don't just play like an ad or something.
Yeah.
I could see him doing
Don't
that.
give him ideas. Manfred's listening, man.
SciFi, you got any last thoughts with our hockey or anything?
Just that I need to get re-educated on hockey.
All right. Well, we can all learn together. And Woopah and JT, any last thoughts tonight?
I just wish they would put hockey on broadcast television and not, obscure cable package that's super duper expensive.
Yep.
That's my one wish for hockey.
Yeah.
So
I understand. It's hard to make a sport popular when when it's not available to the masses to be able to see. But then again, it's amazing that they bring in the money they do. It's television contracts, corporate sponsorships.
Yep.
So,
go Lions is my last thought.
There you go. Buddy's dad has a Scottish Claymore's helmet and jersey. Oh, wow. All right. Woopah, any last thought?
Yeah, I don't know. I wish hockey was more popular because I feel like it's better than most sports. maybe
It's
it's
a
a
good
hot
game.
take here, but
Especially watching it in person. So
that last lockout that they had killed the momentum of the league. It was it was growing and like, oh man, this is great. So many good games, so many good series, and then it's just like it's really it hasn't recovered since then, and COVID did not help that either. That didn't help all sports, but it's really hit, and it's I don't know. I hope it gets better. I just at this point it seems like they went from they were looking at NHL was looking at passing the NBA. Now it looks like NHL might get passed by like UFC at this point. I don't know.
Well, who knows?
Yeesh.
Yeah.
No. The UFC. I thought you said UFL for a second, but the UFC. Wow, that's something.
One day the UFL will pass the NFL, but that's
yes. If I could put money in Vegas on that, I would, even though I don't endorse betting on this channel.
Although y'all need to expand to Vegas though, for you Michigan and St. Louis people. So
Michigan, after Michigan and St. Louis, have their 10th straight championship against each other.
There you go.
Yes.
Well, that's good. Well, folks, thank y'all for being here tonight. We appreciate everybody, your support. Thank y'all again for everything. We really kicked the Super Bowl over, and then spent a lot of time into actually some fun areas of baseball and hockey. Thanks to this great crew, SciFi Mombie. Congrats again on your KC woohoo super title.
Whoop whoop.
Woopah Troopah and JT Kirk. Thank you all for being in here. So
thank you for having us as always.
Absolutely. And Buddy says hockey's getting penalty heavy tough though too. Calling all kinds of
they won't let them fight.
Majors.
They won't let them fight. Let them beat the crap out of each other.
I know that's another tradition taken out of a game. Fighting.
They took away. I still remember there were 2 goalie fights last year. They weren't goalie fights. The goalies were ready to go at it, and the refs stopped them. Like, come on. You know how long
the goalie fights are the best. You clear the net. Come on.
It's like when you clear the benches in baseball. I mean, you want to see that stuff.
And like, I mean, like when goalies are getting into, people messed up. And I remember one of them, at least, I forget what the other one was, but one of them was like Marc-Andre Fleury about to fight Jordan Binnington because Jordan Binnington was like trying to beat up a player. And I'm like, listen, Fleury, probably the nicest guy in all of hockey, and he's about to drop the gloves. You gotta let him do it. I want to see that. That will be prime time television. Everyone will be tuned in. And I'm like, come on, guys, you dropped the ball.
I know that's what made hockey a great sport. It's the fights, especially watching them in person. So that, and they just fought and they got it done. They were over. It's just kind of it's just this. It wasn't using. I mean, when there's like an ethical way to fight. Just fight. Don't just use the sticks and stuff like that. So.
And my favorite thing, they did release some of because refs are mic'd up, and they will actually release mic'd up NHL refs, which I do appreciate. And they had the ref who was holding back Fleury. The stuff he was saying was hilarious because he's like, "Come on, you're gonna let us go a little bit," and then he kept like being like, "Okay, but I just want to. I left my gloves. I left my my blocker over there. I got to go back and get it." He's trying to convince the ref to let him go for a second so he can make a bolt for it, and it was hilarious what he was saying. But anyways,
they were probably Canadian too, so they were like, "Oh, sorry, I have to go and get that." Yeah.
Right.
Oh, well, folks, we are going to go ahead and wrap it up at 2 hours. Wow, 2 hours, 14 minutes. Thank y'all for being here tonight. Appreciate all the support. Tweet out the channel. Share our videos out. Hit that like, subscribe. We are at 581 subs. Get 600 very soon. Remember, tomorrow in the morning, Mrs. Dadman Walking 55 has her show at 10 a.m. and get your daily dose of positivity. Check it out. And of course, on Saturday and Sunday, there'll be some new additions with some new word games. So check that out. Go hear her laugh. It's definitely not, when I had to turn the sound down the other day, not the same, but hey, get that infectious laughter and have a lot of fun with that. Tomorrow night, I am planning on doing a not so late night with Dadman and Friends. Starting at 9 o'clock, our normal time for Buck Rogers in the 25th century. We will not be doing Buck Rogers the next few weeks. We're evaluating season 2 going forward. But for the next couple of weeks, I want to keep something going. I want to keep some programming going in that time slot. It's not going to be a typical show. It's going to be like one of our late night squirrel streams. Folks, tell your neighbors, dogs, friends, bring your friends and stuff like that. Let's get a lot of people in there. I know there's a lot of YouTube, other people out there on Friday nights and stuff but let's have our own fun. We'll be crazy. We got memes. We got, who knows? We'll be squirrel jumping tree to tree, nut to nut, and we'll hit almost any topic as long as it's not politics, religion, and stuff like that. We'll go anywhere, talk about almost anything, and have a lot of fun to it. So,
yeah, folks, if you've never attended one of the squirrel streams, late night with Dadman, you're missing out. Those are probably some of the most, if not the most fun streams I've ever done with him in Hungary and in the gang.
Yes.
So
exactly. And you never know. We sometimes rotate people in and out depending on people's leaves. And as long as, people we know with the channel, and it's always a lot of fun. Buddy comes in trying, almost throwing in here. Season 2 of Buck is better than Galactica 1980. Okay.
Everybody is entitled to an opinion.
Yes, exactly. So, but hey, on that note, folks, everybody, hope to see you tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. But see you at the missus at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning. And everybody, hope you have a great night. And thank you for your time tonight. We appreciate it. Bye, all.
Bye.
Bye.